Hey, good morning. Welcome to Sports Talker. I'm your host, Chris Raynor. Friday, November 28th, fourth round of the state high school, North Carolina High School Athletic Association state playoffs, or third round if you're 1A and 8A, and we're going to tell you that old convoluted mess here shortly. It's a mess. But we got Bob Warlick with us today. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
All y'all are co-host status now. Ashley Moseley, co-host. Co-host Robert Farley. Thank you guys for being with us.
Hey,
And
glad
of
to
course,
be here.
Chris Hollywood man behind the scenes making us, well, not look good. We can't look good, making us
The
sound
Mount Rushmore of high school football knowledge. Bob Warlick, you,
Bob
and
Warlick.
Robert Farley,
that.
no question about it.
Hey, we're not getting any food today, are we? Because I'm full
about
from
to
Y'all,
yesterday.
everybody still full from yesterday?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
Great day.
Thanksgiving. I didn't overeat. I just had turkey and chicken and ham and stuffing and dressing
You
and
overate.
collards and mashed potatoes and gravy. And
You look like you
all the
didn't.
good stuff. Oh, shut up. My ribs were starting to show. I had fasted. I fasted before Thanksgiving. Now I'm slowing after Thanksgiving.
I got
Do
you.
want to thank our sponsors before we get rolling here. I'm going to have Brian North call in here shortly. I'm getting a spam call. Should we let it play and tell him? No, we won't mess with it today. All right. National Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram, Harry Brown, Ryan, Robbie Yates, Chris Hines, and Quentin and the gang there. All About Floors, one of our new sponsors by Ron Prince. Bradley's Jewelers. The Lofts of John Drew Warlick. Golden Corral, Mr. Billy Sewell. Express Printing, Myron Cross. Boy, they're persistent, buddy. Bayshore Animal Hospital there in Swansboro. CNS Paint, Ron Choate and Victor Case. Barkley Insurance Services, Bill Mercer. Superior Metal Structures and Concrete there in Beulahville. Jones Onslow EMC, your Touchtone Energy Cooperative. Down East Heating and Air Conditioning, of course, Jason Humphrey and his gang. Hampton Hadley Chiropractor. Jones LP Gas in Verona, of course, I assume they're open today. They might not be open on Black Friday, but they're probably open today for your $11 cylinder refills today. Southern Touch Painting, Roger Carroll. Fountain Management, Miss Lisa Thornton and Sandra Fountain. Onslow County Motor Company, Ben Beasley and the gang. Lane Associates Family Dentistry. Humphrey Heating and Air Conditioning. And special thanks to Helen's Kitchen and Billy Grissett for keeping our crew well fed today. It's Billy Bowl time today, so they'll be rolling in here shortly with those. Mr. Billy Grissett will drop those off for us. And don't forget, you can catch our podcast later. You can relive today's show and years of past Sports Talk episodes. It's the Sports Talk Experience. Find it on your YouTube channel at WSME Radio. And you can always connect with us on Facebook at Freedom 971 WSME, online WSME971.com. And of course, our studio hotline is 910-346-2248. So without any further dressing, we all had plenty of dressing yesterday with our turkey. Did anybody have anything major going yesterday other than just stuffing your bellies?
No, man.
We're
Everything
very
good.
thankful for what we have. I mean, a lot of times, I think sometimes we always want more and we look at things we don't have, but man, we're very thankful to have the things we do have. Don't you agree?
Yeah, I agree. And Thanksgiving week to me is the best week in sports.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. You got all these basketball tournaments. You
Yep.
got NFL. You got a great college lineup today.
Rivalry weekend, yeah.
I mean, there's
Some
this is
today
a-
and some
NFL
some
today,
tomorrow.
too.
Yeah.
And when your high school
NFL.
team is practicing on Thanksgiving,
That's
that's
awesome.
a good sign.
That's
Oh,
a
yeah.
great sign.
That means you've had a really a great season, even greater now because it's 1 week later.
Right.
Used to it was the third round on Thanksgiving weekend. This one is the fourth round now.
How about that?
I guess they kicked it off a week earlier, or I don't know how that happened, or Thanksgiving's a week later. But either way, teams still playing. Of course, you got Northside and you got Jacksonville and Croatan, so some local teams really done well. I remember our senior year, we practiced on Thanksgiving Day, and man, you're out there and your belly full, and the tryptophan's still in your system trying to make you sleep a little. And most times, I think the coaches intentionally try to get your attention earlier. If they saw the first sign they saw of that Thanksgiving hangover, you got it.
And
Well, let's hope our guys didn't overeat
No,
yesterday.
I don't think so. I think it's going to be all right. But this time of the year, it gets more competitive, as we all know, as prognosticators.
Yeah.
And we all got
We got-
discombobulated last week, didn't we?
We got
Somebody-
gashed, man.
There were some people could have made some major moves, but everybody picked
I went
pretty much the
backwards,
same games. And I say that, but there were some games where say Bob might have gone 8-3. I'm just saying, for instance, and Robert might have gone 8-3, but there was different games missed.
Oh, yeah.
So there was some room to move up last week. and
Some people gambled, I believe, and went
Nobody
the other way.
sees
Some
the day.
people picked the same teams and ended up losing.
Right.
And we're going to go over those teams here shortly. Anything you guys want to let's talk about the Cardinals win last week. You guys were there. I didn't get to make it to that one. Tell us how kind of the ebb and flow of that game. Cardinals jumped on them a little bit, and then they kind of had to fight off a little comeback, didn't they?
Man, it
Tell us
was
all about it.
really honest. If you're going to be honest, fortunate to win that game. They muffed a punt and gave up 2 onside kicks. You know, and at that
And
point,
both were recovered?
oh, both recovered. Yeah, for sure.
Well, they tried 3 onside kicks, if I remember correctly, and they got 2 of them.
And one, the guy just kicked it too short. But needless to say, I'm sure Jacksonville's point of emphasis this week will be special teams. But you don't play that bad and that deep in the playoff in special teams and win against a team like
They were
Scotland.
super fortunate.
If it had been 10 yards closer, the field goal come into play.
Yeah, so it came down to a 2-point conversion. I mean,
Scotland went for the goal, didn't they?
yeah, I don't blame them a bit.
How close was it, or wasn't it even close?
Well,
Cardinals eat it up.
the 2-point conversion, you're not going to believe it, Raynor. Scott.
Oh, yeah, I heard it was a trick play.
Well,
yeah.
Scotland drove the ball and just was having great luck with a freshman running back who's dynamite. He's going to be a major prospect, and just ran it right down the field and then went for 2 and ran a reverse pass that I have no idea why they did. I mean,
Well, remember last week looking at their stats, how many people we've seen had thrown the ball.
Yeah,
and that was one of the keys we said to look for is a halfback pass.
Yeah, but I know that coach. I mean, he's a great coach, but I know he had to be second-guessing himself on that way home. The way they were running the ball at will, really.
Yeah.
So they had a kid named Marshawn Lynch in the backfield. Basically, you know what I'm
McNeil.
talking about, the Seattle game.
Yeah.
Remember the Super Bowl where he's just motor grading them,
Yeah.
and then you try a little inside slant.
Yeah.
Same type
Yeah,
thing.
that running back was pretty – he was not as quick as our running backs, but he was elusive and hard to tackle.
And they had tried some trick plays throughout the year, throughout the season.
Right.
You know.
Well,
Yeah,
we
they
saw
were
that. Like I said, we saw that several players had attempted passes,
Right.
which is a dead giveaway that they'll like to
And he had
do
about
some
250
chicanery.
yards, I think, total.
He did.
I mean,
Hard to bring down.
He
Very
was.
shifty side to side. He would put his hand on the ground and keep his balance. His balance was as good as I've seen in a long time.
And
He's
that
a
Bo Williams
freshman.
defense came to the forefront.
They did. Yeah, they did.
it was pretty exciting.
Yeah, it was. We're really fortunate to be playing.
You
Tell
didn't-
us.
Didn't
I'm
want it to
sorry.
be that exciting, did you?
No, I sure didn't. No.
Tell us about the night. I know that you know pretty much about the team that they're playing now, Union Pines.
Yeah, I mean, Union Pines is a team that historically is not like Jacksonville or Scotland County, but they are a good.
They're from up around
football team.
Pinehurst, that
They're
area.
around Pinehurst, which would make you think they're like in a golfing community and
Horse
affluent,
community.
right?
Yeah.
Those are tough
Well,
kids,
this is their
man.
first time in the 4th round in school history.
Yeah, I mean, but they're tough. I told a friend, I have a dear friend that went to the state championship who coaches in Ohio, and it reminds me of Ohio football. I mean, it's just fundamentally sound, real tough kids, no mistakes, not going to beat themselves, and it's
They have one
Well,
common.
we're gonna
opponent.
we can get this call real quick, and then we're gonna jump back on that. Good morning, caller. Welcome to Sports Talk.
Hi. I'll ask my question, then I'll hang up and listen.
How are you this fine Friday morning?
What's going on, Mr. Raynor?
Not much. Brian North from WCTI TV 12 with us today. Welcome to the show.
The Blitz.
The Blitz. Happy to be here, as always.
Okay.
Are we feasting on football today?
Yes, we
And-
feasted yesterday on turkey, and we're feasting on football today. What are obviously Jacksonville and Union Pines, we were starting to talk about that a little bit. What are the other huge Mongo matchups tonight?
Huge Mongo matchups. How about Farmville Central at James Keenan? Farmville Central in the 4th round for the first time in 22 years. Headed to Warsaw. Be a lot of black and gold uniforms on the field. Farmville
Jags and Tigers?
Yeah, Jags and Tigers. Farmville Central's been bringing the defense. James Keenan, of course, has really good offense, so that'll be a fun one that we'll be monitoring. How about Kinston, the top aerial attack in the state? The Vikings have to get on the bus and for the second straight week make a 120-mile trip to Elizabeth City. Beat Pasquotank last week. Now they get Elizabeth City. They get Northeastern tonight. And so that'll be a lot of fun to see if Kinston, who really was a preseason the States with everything they had coming back, but they struggled to start the year. They were 3-3, and then finally they've kicked it up a notch, and they've been great ever since. So we'll see if they can pick up another road win as the 14th seed. But that's a top quarterback in the state passing-wise, Tyler Jones from Kinston. Top receiver, Tyreek Copper, who's headed to NC State. They've also got a Marshall commit in Brennan Chambers. So it's been a lot of fun watching that Kinston team.
Before you leave Kinston, I want to make sure I understand that. You said top aerial attack. Is he the number one passing quarterback in the state?
Yeah, by far, by 400 yards. Yeah, and 40.
Kinston.
And the leading receiver.
Yeah, for Kinston, 42 touchdowns, I think it is, that he has, and 9 interceptions. I mean, now look, he's got some guys to throw to. Now it helps when you've got those studs. But yeah, Tyreek Copper leads the state with 1,800 yards catching. That's 500 more yards than anybody else. And his 26 touchdown catches are 9 more than anybody else. And then
He plays defense too, doesn't he, Brian?
A little bit, yeah, when they need him to.
I think he had a
when they need
pick.
him.
Did he have a pick 6 last week? I know he had interception or
He
punt
had
return
interception.
maybe.
He's had punt returns. He's had 2
Yeah.
punt returns for touchdowns. And then Tyler Jones, just looking up his numbers real quick, he's thrown for 3,587 yards. That is more than 400 yards better than anybody else. 47 touchdown passes, 9 interceptions.
So normally you get the quarterbacks from the Charlotte schools or Wake Forest or all that leading the state. You got a Kinston quarterback leading the state in passes. That's unreal.
Yeah, and the third quarterback's Tanner Payne out of West Carteret. So
Yeah.
we've had 2 really good quarterbacks. And then number 4 is the Northeastern kid, Zach Ishman, who's pretty good. He doesn't have quite the weapons to throw to that Tyler does, but no, it's Eastern North Carolina not known for the aerial attacks, but this year we've had 2 really good quarterbacks getting it done.
So I heard DraftKings put the over-under for the Kinston Northeastern game at 104. Is that accurate?
Yeah, it might be. You know, the one thing Kinston does have is they do have a good defense, and so they're confident they can go in there and win. But no, there could be a possibility of a lot of points put up. But the athletes that Kinston has, they got a kid running back, Genesis Wiggins, who's never played football before, but he's been great. And then there's a bunch of Smurf receivers that Kinston has too. When their big guys get taken out, they can go to a couple other options. So they've got it going on right now. Watch out for Kinston; they could certainly make a run.
Who you picking for that game, Brian? Help me
Yeah,
out
Brian,
here.
not to put you on the spot, but tell us we're putting you on the spot.
No, I've had Kinston. It's funny, they're the lowest seeded team left at number 14, but I've been saying all year long I thought they were going to make it to the state championship game, at least to the Eastern Finals there. So I think this isn't as good a Northeastern team as we've seen in the past. I think Kinston can go up there as long as there's 2 things that Coach Gieselman was worried about. The long bus ride again, and they just did it, and then the cold weather. Cold weather, you find out who wants to play, and it's going to be a little chilly Friday night.
Well, the factors usually at Northeastern, number 1, you said the cold weather. The long drive for teams from around here. Several teams, Southwest, others have made that trip. Northside, I think, made it one year. It's a long way. And number 3 is the fans that sit on the wrong side. Do you know about that phenomena?
No, but I know it's a rowdy environment.
They have a group of fans, about 50 of them. And I'm talking about older folks like
Yeah.
me that sit on the visiting side every game.
They're hard to beat up there, buddy.
It can get a little testy up there.
They're hard to beat up there.
We cowbelled them to death one year.
Yeah, and I've heard Antonio Moore, the head coach, he likes to have the hip hop style there. They've got a DJ rolling tunes, and they've got
Oh, wow.
they try to be distracting, but Coach Gieselman thought that would actually work in his team's favor because he says his guys will love that. So I
Kinston
just think
will
this is
love
a good environment for Kinston to go there and win.
They got every fire truck in the Elizabeth City Fire Department out there at the end zone to roll the red lights when they score. It's a different environment.
Hard
You're
to beat
right.
up there, I'm telling you.
It sure is.
So what are some other Mongo matchups you see coming up?
Southwest Edgecombe at West Craven, a rematch of a game from earlier this year. We think West Craven will win, but look, Southwest goes into East Duplin. That's an impressive win. So that one's a good one. And then we have Croatan. Look, Croatan going to Hunt. Hunt's good, and so Croatan coming off that emotional win. Do they have anything left in the tank to go into Wilson and pull off that upset? That would be a huge one.
All right, what's your line on Jacksonville and Union Pines? I don't know a whole lot about Union Pines, to be honest with you. Bob was getting ready to tell us some stuff about him that he'd researched. Bob Warlick, of course, the loss of John Drew Warlick, one of your big sponsors.
Yeah,
too.
thank you, Brian, for all that.
Yeah.
All right.
No, thank you.
What's your thoughts on that game?
It's my favorite thing to say every night on the Blitz. It's a top 10 It's the premier matchup.
Man.
It's always good. Look, you like Jacksonville at home, and in each round things get a little bit tougher as you go on. And I think, like most of us, Union Pines has been one of those teams that isn't a brand name within the state. They've had themselves a special year, and you have to be careful of teams like that sometimes because of what they can do here when they believe in themselves. So they're coming out of Cameron, which is the other side of Raleigh, so they got a little bit of a road trip themselves. I don't think they're a team that's used to playing this deep into the playoffs, so that's going to be an interesting deal for them about how they're going to handle going to a hostile environment. And so they're 11-1. Obviously, they've had great success this year. I'm trying to look at their schedule here real quick to see if there's any like super impressive wins that they've had from some brand name teams on there. But it's it's Triton, it's Lee County, Western Harnett, Lee County, Williams. So nobody that really quickens the pulse of who they've beaten this year to make you say this is a game that scares you if you're Jacksonville.
Well, it looks like the only common game might be Harnett Central. Do they play them?
Yeah, let's see.
Because Jacksonville had them
They
last
beat them
before last.
28 to 12, 24 to 12, something like that.
Yeah, and you're looking. They've only allowed 75 points.
That's
all year,
it.
Right.
Defense.
So,
Their defense is stout.
So defense is good, but again, who have they played, and have they seen anybody like Amari Pearson? As I tell people all the time, you can watch Pearson on film, but the first time you try to take an angle on him and that burst that he has, I mean, it's you're going to miss a lot of time. So getting used to that game speed, I think, for Union Pines is going to be interesting. I think the beginning of the game will be key for Jacksonville. If they jump out to a lead, I think they can step on them.
Yeah. Nah, man, that's awesome.
Who was Jacksonville Northside got, Brian?
Oh, yeah.
Northside,
Rocky Mount.
they've got a tough one now. They've
Rocky
got
Mount.
Rocky Mount.
Okay.
Rocky Mount's coming off a real big win over Southern Nash. And so Rocky Mount's always a good pedigree, always really good football there. So that's going to be a tough one.
Is it the Rocky Mount or here in Jacksonville?
Jacksonville.
Okay.
Yeah, Rocky Mount is going to be in the north side. So Rocky Mount's played in a really tough conference. They're in there with Northern Nash, Southern Nash, all of those. So they're battle tested now. They're no joke. And while they had some hiccups along the way this season, but they've had it going on here towards the end of the season. I think they lost to Northern Nash. And Northern Nash is really, really good. But overall, they're 9-3. Yeah, I'm just looking at the schedule here real quick. They lost to Northern Nash 31-18. But outside of that, they lost to Hunt, who, again, is still involved right now. And so, and Tarboro. Those are their three losses this year.
Wow.
That's a gauntlet.
Yeah.
We're talking about, a turkey-induced tryptophan coma. Are you going to stick around the homelands and hit West Craven? Is that where you'll be at?
Yeah, I had made a commitment to help light the Newbern Christmas tree at Union Point Park Friday evening. So to do that and to get Santa where he needs to go and then to get to a game, yes, West Craven will be my closest option. So that's where I will be.
Yeah, man.
Good deal. Where are you sending Luke to? All over everywhere else?
I think he's going to go to James Keenan because that's two local teams there, and we think that's going to be a great environment. He's got the ability to still get back, and then we'll have two really good photographers in Jacksonville and Northside. Well, normally you try to cover both of those, but at fourth round, we're going to try and send a photographer to each one to cover the whole game because it's just, you make it this far, you make it this deep to the state quarterfinals, you deserve a little
There's
extra
a lot of
coverage.
local teams in your viewing area left. A lot.
Really are.
Yeah, not bad. Going back to basically the sub-classifications, when we used to have the sub-classifications, we would always have a pretty good representation. So in the 6 classifications, or in the 8 classifications, we have 6 still have a chance to state championships, right?
That's great, man. And, of course, we have the greatest sportscaster in the eastern part of the country, Brian North, here with us on the phone. Brian, I'm going to introduce you to who we have with us. We have Bob Warlick, of course, Ashley Moseley, and Robert Farley. And you guys got a question for Brian before we take off? I do have one while they're formulating their questions. I have one real quick. We talked about, Bob had said something about Union Pines had never made it past the third round before. In previous years, they'd be in the Eastern Finals right now. The way the playoffs used to work. But with this extra round, Union Pines is still one step away from the Eastern Finals. So what we talked briefly on the phone about the whole system with 1A and 8A having the first bye and then the second bye after they win, whoever wins this week. What's your thoughts? Do you think? Tell us your thoughts about the 6 division classification that we had talked about.
Well, first of all, North Carolina, the NCHSAA, it's no secret I've never been a big fan of how they've done things. I moved here 27 years ago, and I was flabbergasted at how far behind they were and how they did their state playoffs. They used to have, remember the old, they already predetermined who was going to be in. Like, Tideland Conference, even though you're horrible, you're going to get 3 playoff teams this year. Well, eventually you're only going to get 2. Remember, they used to use the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. And stuff. And then I can also remember that if you were a lower seed and you beat a higher seed, you took over their seed. I'd never heard that before. And one year, North Edgecombe beat the top seed, who was a horrible team like Gates County up, that had a propped up record. And then they took over and they got the host the rest of the way. I'd never heard of such Tom.
And luckily, they did away with that ill-fated idea.
I mean, there was some teams in lower divisions that won one game that made the playoffs.
Yeah.
Right.
Make that make sense.
Exactly.
That doesn't make sense.
I came from Virginia where they already had a point system in place and a precursor to the RPI, and it just made sense. But
so you do prefer the RPI a little better, that part of it. It's just I don't think we needed 8 classes. We talked on the phone about how 6 probably would have been a plenty here in North Carolina.
Right. So they stayed with this antiquated system for so long, they never grew. That was the problem in North Carolina. They stayed with the 4 classifications, and then they just decided to subclassify. They should have been growing with the population. North Carolina has been one of the fastest growing states population-wise in the country, and they should have grown accordingly with the student population, but they have not done that. And then they tried to go to the subclassification, then they went back, and now they try to jump immediately to 8. 6 probably would have worked better, but if they'd grown proportionately through the years, like I don't even understand the whole thing that they do with enrollment, and it's every 4 years they do that. We have the technology to do this every month, for God's sake. I mean, at least every year. Why are we sitting here and redoing this every 4 years? I know why.
And even worse, they'll cut it off, and then they'll take the results from it a year later. So that school's either grown or declined in that year. It's the waiting period. Yeah, so it's even worse.
And you can't tell me schools aren't fudging those numbers when they come up every 4 years.
You reckon?
Right? So,
Brian, is Reidsville in the East this year?
yes, Reidsville is in the 4A East, and so Reidsville has Edenton. No, wait, Edenton Homes is going to Warren County. Reidsville. Reidsville's great this year. If West Craven wins, the West Craven Southwest Edgecombe winner will have to go to Reidsville.
Ooh, yikes. Title Town. You've been there before. It's not.
That's a haul.
It's not one of the most modern places, but when you see those 87 national or state championships up there on that plywood board, it can be intimidating, right there on the hill and everything.
And they still that's a town that still rallies around its football every Friday night. Right?
It's just amazing. East Duplin beat them a few years ago for their state title.
Yeah, it is.
That was huge. Yes.
East Duplin in that game had the perfect storm. They had. You remember the kick that nobody responded to? The guy stood up with the ball, and East Duplin guy had enough GQ to snatch it away from him and take off. Just things fell into place. And about state championships. You have those trap games. You remember Southwest with East Bladen a couple of times.
Yep.
If you don't win that game, you don't even make it to the state championship, much less win it. And there's always those games that you got to. It's a dogfight.
Yeah.
There's always one like Jacksonville last week. I think that Scotland game. When so you hope you get that out of the way, and then you can finish and take care of business. But there's always that one game you don't expect.
They can look back as that was their game. Yeah. Their trap game. All right. Anything you guys want to ask Brian before we let him go?
Oh, man. Thank you. I appreciate everything you do for high school sports.
It's my pleasure. It's a lot of fun. It's still the best reality TV that's out there.
It is.
Sports.
And you were doing it long before that was Vogue, In Vogue. All right. Well, thank you, Brian. Have a happy rest of your weekend, and we'll probably talk to you in the next couple of weeks to line up everything else.
All right. Sounds good.
Take care, brother.
Take care, man.
Thanks, Brian.
Bye.
Thank you, buddy. Bob, I think that game Friday night, the difficulty that Jacksonville had with Scotland County, going to help them.
It is. I think Hollywood.
Yeah, we do need to take a break because we went a little long with Brian. When we come back, we're going to talk about that game and how it plays into next week. We'll be right back. Hey, welcome back to Sports Talk. I'm your host, Chris Raynor. Friday, November 28th, the fourth round of the North Carolina High School Athletic Association State Playoffs. Thanks so much for Brian North for calling in and giving us his inside expertise on these games. A lot of local folks see the games around Onslow and surrounding counties, but Brian sees everybody in the East. And, man, if you've ever seen him do that thing they used to do for the jamboree that we had, where he's basically the MC and he gets on there and he knows it right off the top of his head. Yeah. He'll ask a coach a question, no notes. I'm hoping we can get that back once we get those turf fields rolling over there at the what's it called?
Woodlands Park.
Woodlands Park, yeah. We're going to look at some of our brackets and go along and kind of pick some stuff as we go. Let's start in the cellar. Well, not really cellar. Well, it's cellar. It's 1A. 1A's down to their Final Four in the state. Isn't that wild?
Who?
1A football is down to their Final Four. You got Wilson Prep versus Northside Pinetown in the East. That's the Eastern Championship. In the West, you got a team called Robbinsville. You ever heard of them before?
Oh, yeah.
I think they still have the most state titles of any school.
Reedsville does.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought Robbinsville had
Reedsville.
Reedsville has added lately, and Robbinsville had.
Reedsville.
Yeah. So you got Robbinsville and South Davidson. That's the Final Four. So what these teams will do is play this weekend. Whoever wins gets another week off before state championship. That's kind of just
that's crazy, and
like
it screws their basketball teams. I mean, it just
they're sitting there.
It's bad in a lot of ways.
That's bad.
Can you imagine having to practice for 2 weeks knowing you got a state championship?
Why couldn't
coming?
you had their state championships a week early?
Right.
Why not?
With the way I agree with the way everything worked out with these Thursday night games they're gonna be having and stuff, have that Saturday.
Yeah.
After the Eastern Finals and the other classes, have that as the state championship for these two. So, do y'all know anything at all about Wilson Prep? Northside Pinetown, of course,
undefeated.
The Panthers, I think, and undefeated. I'm kind of pulling for them. Wilson Prep, they're not quite as close as Northside Pinetown, but either one of those teams, I think, will represent the East.
They're officiating crews out of Wilmington. I spoke to one of the guys I talk with every week.
For that game?
He's got that game.
Okay.
His crew does out of Wilmington.
And then you got Robbinsville and South Davidson, of course, in the West.
Robbinsville's legit, man.
Yeah, they always are.
The champion to come out of the West.
That's one of them towns where they live, like Swain County, Bryson City,
Yeah.
football. That's what they breathe.
Wilson Prep's probably got an NIL budget, so
Right.
they're probably pretty good.
They're pretty good.
So are they considered a private school?
Yeah, they can
I think they're like
pull
the
from
Cardinal
anybody.
Gambit. Yeah,
They
they're
can
like,
pull from anywhere.
Yeah.
That's interesting, and I do want over the off season. I want to have a topic about it and get kind of our ducks in a row about it because I remember what was the basketball school, Bishop McGinnis.
Yeah.
They won like 13 or 14 straight girls state championships, and it was a basketball factory.
Right.
It was.
They could pull from anywhere. I assume that like players can come there. Is it like a boarding school where they can stay there?
Yeah.
I don't know if Wilson Prep has.
I'm
Well,
talking about,
several
like,
of them do,
Bishop
though.
McGinnis
Like
and
Charlotte Catholic.
Greensboro Day.
They got beat though. They're out.
All
Yeah,
right.
so we don't have to worry about that.
Catholics
They're
out.
6A.
Chevy
They
Fork
lost
out
this
there.
past week, didn't they? All right, and let's look at the Eastern. Well, we'll look at the Western bracket first for the next one up, which is 2A. If I can get this to cooperate, you got Mitchell High School and Starmount. Man, they've been around for years.
Yeah.
And then you got Murphy, of course, another Western team. There's some of those Western schools, especially the smaller ones, that's just every year.
That's it, man.
Murphy, Swain County, Starmount,
Tarboro in the
ones like
East.
that. Yeah, exactly.
Very much so.
Same thing.
They're playing the Coravian Community. I'm assuming that's like a charter type school.
Yeah, that's the team that won it all last year from
Did they?
from Charlotte. Yeah, they were loaded. I mean, they beat
Corvain.
Tarboro. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And
That's
Tarboro, doesn't, there's not a better coach out there than Tarboro,
No.
but that Coravian Community, they were a small college-looking team.
All right, and then we're going to get to the usual suspects here in the East in 2A. Number 1 seed, Tarboro. I think everything runs through Tarboro.
Yeah.
No doubt.
East, West, whatever. Even the years where you had, 7 out of the 8 teams back when they subdivided win from the West, Tarboro was the one from the East.
Yeah.
Same thing when it was 4 classes. You have 3 from the West dominate, and there's Tarboro. They're just consistently there. They're playing East Bladen, so East Bladen has to go to Tarboro to play that game. Then you have Warren County hosting John Holmes High School, Edenton Holmes. That one's up there too now. But with it being up where it is, not quite as far of a stretch between Warren County and the Holmes High School.
Right.
It's not like you're having to go from Brunswick County to go
They got
to
a
Edenton.
lot of good football players up there, though, man.
At Edenton Holmes.
Yeah.
Have through the years.
Yeah, sure have.
The Edenton Aces. There's been years in the past where teams have had to go a lot like what Kinston did last week. The Pasquotank.
Yeah.
come
Turn around
back,
and go back
go
again.
back to Northeastern. In the old days when they were in the same class, you would go to Eaton Holmes, come back if you beat them, and Northeastern the next week.
Where'd Warren County come from? I mean, I know where it's at, but
Yeah.
Up there, maybe Roanoke, Rabbit.
It was
Just
on the
I'm like
Virginia
you.
line, but they hadn't been around in a while.
I don't recall hearing a lot from them the last couple of years. They
Yeah,
must have
that's
that
what
class come through. That's
Yeah.
They're number 2 seed in the East behind Tarboro. So if East Bladen were to pull off the upset, which I'd probably take money line on that one any day of the week if it existed, that Tarboro would win. Warren County could host the Eastern Finals, but it doesn't look like that's going to be an issue. I see Tarboro just taking over with that. You guys got any other thoughts on that one?
No.
Don't know nothing about them. Except Tarboro's
Nothing about
good.
it.
Yeah.
Well, let's get to the 3A bracket real quick. As soon as Hollywood tells us we got to go to break, we went a little long on the first segment. But in the 3A bracket headed into the 4th round, you got James Keenan hosting Farmville Central. Kinston will be at Northeastern. Brian talked about that. Then out west, you got Lincoln. That's another power out that way. And West Davidson, another power. Eastern ran off. And then I've heard of this school before, Shelby. They have a title or 22, you know.
Yeah.
So you got those in the west, and then you got Kinston. Who do you see coming out of James Keenan, Farmville Central, Kinston, and Northeastern to represent the East? Is it James Keenan's to lose, you think? Obviously, they're the number 1 seed.
I think James Keenan, because they'll be at home.
I think James Keenan will beat Farmville Central.
I think Keenan will too, but I'm a little bit with Brian. I think the passing game might have Keenan.
If from Farmville Central or
Yeah,
Kinston?
no, I think the passing game of Kinston. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Kinston.
So if they
through.
both win and face the next round, that would be a
That's
game.
physical
to go
versus
see.
wide open passing, right? I mean,
That
They
would
used
be
to
a
be in
very
the same
interesting game.
conference last year. Kinston and James Keenan weren't
Yeah,
they?
for a little while,
Yeah.
before everything got thrown all to the wolves with the 8 classes. But yeah, I think that'd be an amazing game to
Really
go
good
watch if
one.
you didn't have another one to go
I'll
watch.
tell you a team that Northeastern beat this year also. DH Connor.
They did?
I believe it is, yeah.
Yeah, Northeastern. It's a haul up there, buddy. Elizabeth City ain't no next door thing. Then we hit the 4A bracket real quick before we go to break. Out west in the 4A, you got High Britain and Maiden. You know, same suspects. Brevard, Pisgah, same teams out west. Here in the east, it's a little different this year. Obviously, Reedsville, number 1 seed, is the usual suspect. Central Davidson is the 4 seed at Reedsville. Reedsville's probably going to be the one, the toughest one out there, I would think.
Yeah.
Southwest Edgecombe and West Craven is very intriguing. When Southwest beat Southwest Onslow, I was at that game, and they beat them handily, but I didn't see what I thought was a team that would get this far.
Right.
So they've surprised
I
me.
can't put my finger on Southwest Edgecombe.
Yeah.
They only
They're tough.
won 4 or 5 games in the regular season.
It got hot, man. They've
Yeah.
gotten hot.
They got, if their passing game gets, their streaky passing game, he can either airmail it like Bryce Young in the end zone, or he can hit him dead on like Bryce Young in
Right.
the end zone. You know,
Yeah.
so it's kind of the same
Yeah, I
thing.
was shocked they beat East Duplin. really
I was too.
I think
Robert.
everybody picked East
Yeah.
Duplin.
Yeah. With that running offense at home, I think they thought they'd grind them down and
Yeah.
keep them off the field, but 44 to
That's why you
41
play.
was the score.
That's why you play the games.
That's right. West Craven, we do need to take our last break here after West Craven. They could potentially, play spoiler here. I know they're looking forward to going to hopefully playing at Reedsville, but that would be a tough task. But
But
we're
you
going to
load
take
off of them when they don't have anything to lose. When they're not expecting
That's
to
true.
win, they can hang loose and play,
we're going to take our break, come back with our Hurricanes watch, and then finish up with all high school stuff, including a little known team or a lot known team, the Jacksonville Cardinals. We'll be right back. Hey, welcome back to Sports Talk. I'm your host, Chris Raynor. Happy Thanksgiving weekend. Hope you all had a happy and joyous Thanksgiving with your family and everything yesterday. Didn't eat too much, or if you did eat too much, you got a little time before Christmas to kind of work it off. We got Bob Warlick with us today, Ashley Moseley, and Robert Farley. Thank you guys for all being with us. We're heading into our Hurricane Watch. Have you been to a Canes game yet this year, Bob?
Not this
How about
year.
you, Robert?
Nope.
It's time. We got to
It's
get it
getting
rolling.
time, yeah.
I know Ashley ready to go to another one.
Can't hardly wait, but
Had a good time, didn't we?
yeah, had a good time.
Yeah, we won't do that
That's
again.
pretty good. Ashley didn't get thrown out of that hockey game. I figured you would incite a fight out there.
Well,
I couldn't get through that glass, man.
They were smart enough to put plexiglass between us and the bench.
You
Looking
can't
back
even
at,
holler at them. They can't even hear you.
I remember you at that baseball game we went to, Wood Ducks.
Oh, yeah. When that team threatened me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah,
oh yeah, but we still had a good time though.
yeah
They
gave
ended
me an
up giving me an
autographed
autographed
baseball.
ball by the night.
They gave me an autographed baseball.
They
We
did.
had a lot of fun with it.
That's Ashley. They'll threaten him early and then love him at the end.
That's it.
All right, looking at the Hurricanes, talk about Jekyll or Hyde. We talked about that with Bryce Young some earlier. We were talking outside. The Hurricanes, let's see, they win a game, lose a game, win a game, lose a game, win a game, lose a game, win a game, lose a game. For the last cycle of 8 games, it's been win, loss, win, loss, win, loss. Still in first place in the Metro, but they the last Friday night game after the show we talked about, they beat the Winnipeg Jets 4-3 up way up yonder in Canada. Then they come a little further this way to Buffalo and lose 4-1. Not a good game at all. But the Canes are still in first place in the Metro with 30 points. Still doing good. It's just hockey's a long season.
Yeah.
They got a lot of injuries still. Jacob Slavin's still
That's
out.
the one.
One of the games I didn't go to, he's out front signing autographs. That's the difference between hockey and some of the other sports.
Right.
The guys are so much more approachable. If they have practices there, you can wait out back and they'll sign stuff as they leave.
You think we're going to try to get a goalie at the trade deadline?
I think we need one.
I think so too.
But you got to keep in mind that these goalies that we have now are working with about 3 short on the 3 defenders short.
Slavin's huge
Yeah.
without him.
Oh, he was the one that ate it up in that 4 Nation thing that got so much praise
Oh, yeah.
over. Great defender, and defenders in hockey, they're not like a defensive back defender. They'll take the puck and do their thing on defense. Then they set the table for the offense, pushing it forward, kind of get the break going, stuff like a lot more like basketball type. You play defense and you can set up your own offense. So Canes are still in first place in the Metro. Some of the teams, man, are killing it. The Canes have 30 points, which is leading the Eastern Division or Eastern Conference. Then out west, you got the Colorado Avalanche with 37 points.
Yeah.
So way head and shoulders above. The bottom line in hockey is get hot at playoff time.
Yeah.
So we can get these players back and everything and get rolling. Do want to thank, we got to go to break. We do want to thank Downey's Heating and Air Conditioning for sponsoring
Yes,
this.
sir.
Jason Humphrey in the game. Did you have something about hockey before we go? Or
No, not about hockey.
we'll jump on
About
that.
the Carolina Panthers.
Keep that in mind. We're going to
I
jump on that when we
will.
get back because I do want to talk about them.
I got it.
Dad blame Panthers. All right, we'll be right back on Sports Talk.
We got to get back.
Hey, welcome back to Sports Talk. I'm your host, Chris Raynor. Friday, November 28th. Black Friday, heading into the fourth round of the North Carolina High School Athletic Association state playoffs, the Eastern semifinals for 2A through 7A, and then 1A and 8A. It's the Eastern finals tonight, and then they'll have a week off. And anyway, we're not going to get, but we beat that horse to death. Before we jump into this day in sports history, we want to reintroduce everybody. We have Robert Farley with us today, Ashley Moseley, and Bob Warlick. Ashley, you had a Carolina Panthers concern, question, issue.
Well, in my most humble opinion, the Carolina Panthers will never do very, very well as long as they got Bryce Young as quarterback. Nothing against him other than he doesn't make good decisions, as Bob said, and he's too short.
He's feast or famine. He comes off a 448-yard game, and then a stinker, man. Just some bad decisions.
Horrible decisions.
The one in the end zone that we were just talking about, he could have walked into the corner of the pylon instead of throwing it into double coverage.
And it automatically puts more pressure on the offensive line trying to protect the guy.
And part of it, I agree with Bob. I throw on Canales for not running. Or you
Dowdle,
said,
that guy from
Robert Farley said it. You know, Dowdle is a stud.
Yes,
he's one of
is.
them that's leaning forward as he's
I mean, the 49ers like, here, you guys take this game. We don't want to win it. Let's throw 3 interceptions early.
Yeah.
We got 0 points out of them interceptions, I don't think.
Well, they're calling the Panthers' remaining games the outcast schedule. You have McCaffrey. Who McCaffrey wanted out more than we wanted him gone. And David Tepper, being the nice guy he is, said, hey, we'll let you go to San Francisco for, a couple of magic beans and stuff like
Isn't
that.
that why we had Bryce Young as part of that trade?
Well, that was a little after, but still, yeah. McCaffrey and Bryce interchanged. They were together for a little while.
Yeah, we only got a third rounder for McCaffrey.
I know, you got nothing
that
for
was
him.
the deal of the century.
Some
man.
magic beans you plant in the backyard to get a beanstalk or something.
I would at least
6
give
draft picks, though, for Bryce Young.
Andy Dalton a shot.
That really surprised me, that game that he threw that kind of a dud game. But then you have also coming up the other obviously Baker Mayfield's coming up. Who's the other one? The
Sam
quarterback.
Darnold.
Sam Darnold. When it said Andy Dalton, I was thinking Darnold. But Sam Darnold. So the Panthers will be facing McCaffrey, Darnold, and Mayfield twice. 4 out of their last 6 or so games. And I can tell you this, Baker Mayfield, he can have the worst games he's ever had. When he plays the Carolina Panthers, you're going to see him light it up because he is the one that I think that took exception mostly to being traded out of all of them.
Revenge.
He got hurt, though, maybe.
Yeah, he's got an AC joint sprain.
I don't have a problem with the Panthers' defense that much.
No.
They've came up
Horn.
16 places, from last year.
How good is Horn? He's probably the best corner in the league. He's in the conversation.
The one linebacker, I never can pronounce his name right, number 7, the linebacker, had a great game until he decided he wanted to go rogue at the end and punch the guy in the family jewels and, get suspended for a game. So he's out for a game now. Yeah. I think it's just one game.
One game.
But what, act like you've been there.
No discipline, man.
All right, we're going to jump into this day in sports history and then talk more about the Cardinals as we finish the show out. All this stuff happened on this day in sports history, November 28th. On this day back in 1895, America fires up its first ever auto race. Wow. 6 brave machines rolled from Chicago to Evanston and back, and Frank Duria wins it all by averaging a blazing 7 miles per hour.
Let me ask you a question.
Where was he at, on I-40 during rush traffic?
Let me ask you a question.
All right.
Do you know why they had the first ever auto race in 1895?
I don't.
You don't?
No.
They didn't have no cars before then.
But
smart,
somebody decided we're going to have a race averaging 7 miles per hour. And my question is, how did they keep up with that? How did they know it was 7 miles per hour back then? 1895, they didn't quite have the GPS trackers and stuff like we have nowadays. All right, Robert.
Hey, 1958, LSU wraps up an undefeated regular season and grabs the #1 ranking. Billy Cannon became a Tiger legend.
That's going to be an interesting situation as we go on. Has LSU named a new coach yet?
Nope.
They haven't.
Waiting on the lane train.
The lane train.
Just waiting on him to make a decision.
All right, Ashley.
1964, Jim Brown steamrolls the Cowboys for 179 yards and a touchdown. Vintage Cleveland dominance. Back in the day.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
You had to throw that disclaimer there.
Yeah.
Can you imagine standing on the train tracks and Jim Brown's the train? If there was ever because he had only like a 9-year career before he hung it up. Just as dominating a running back as there was.
Yeah. 1976, Kenny the Snake Stabler tosses 4 touchdown passes as the Raiders put the swagger on Cincinnati.
Possibly one of the most legendary quarterbacks just some of the stories.
Oh, yeah.
I
He
read a
loved
book
to
about
party,
his
didn't he? He
autobiography.
loved to party.
Yeah. And the long hair and
Yeah.
looked like the bandit out there, basically, from Smoking the Bandit. Left-hander from Alabama. You know, and Alabama quarterbacks get the knock nowadays, but back then you had some good
Barry
Alabama
Bryant
quarterbacks.
kicked him off the team one time, but it let him back on.
I can only imagine. He probably broke a rule or two. All right, in 1987, Wayne Gretzky collected his 1,000th career assist, and he's not even 27 yet at the time. Truly unreal. Of course, still has the record for the most assists, most points, because in the NHL you get a point for assist and goal.
1991, Magic Johnson, weeks after announcing his HIV diagnosis, is voted into the NBA All-Star Game, an emotional and unforgettable moment in sports.
We all remember the announcement, and it was a different time then. Nobody knew what to expect from him.
Right.
You know, you had players.
Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna be out there sweating and trading.
Yeah.
You know, there was so much unknown about it then.
Wow. Okay, 1993, Notre Dame shots number 1 in Florida State and flips the national championship picture upside down. Now, how did you flip it upside down?
Because Florida
that
State
just-
was
Well, back in
considered a
93,
shoe-in then.
they didn't have playoffs. It was
Yeah.
a poll
Okay.
that determined the national champion.
And I believe,
writers.
I was thinking it was 93, but I believe it was 1990 where, remember, Georgia Tech and Colorado shared a national championship.
Yep.
Sure
You had
did.
the AP pick one and the UPI picked
Right.
the other back then.
1999, Pete Sampras takes down Andre Agassi in straight sets to win his 5th and final ATP Tour World Championship. A perfect ending to an iconic rivalry chapter.
Both of those were pretty good, but I would say Sampras probably had the edge overall.
Yeah.
All right, 2004, Brett Favre makes his 200th consecutive start. Brett Favre, 200 consecutive starts. The Ironman streak rolled on. Favre was he was a gambler too. Now,
Oh, yeah.
he was a player that liked to take chances, but most of his worked out. That's the difference.
I don't know. Last couple games he played, he cost them the game throwing them interceptions.
Oh, and I love Bob Sanders telling the story about, man, they're lined up to go to the Super Bowl, and Brett Favre throws that interception.
Is Bob helping the high school team as well?
Bob is in Appalachian State.
Okay.
He's an analyst at Appalachian
He's the
State
senior
for
defensive
defense.
consultant for
Oh,
App.
okay.
So we're gonna get him lined up once he gets back from that gig. You know, he's staying up there basically, you know, the whole time during the season, and then he'll be headed back this
They
way.
got to
Okay.
win this weekend to be bowl eligible, I think.
Yeah.
for
So
5
hopefully
and
they
6.
will.
Hey, in 2010, the Cam Newton leads Auburn to a stunning comeback win over Alabama in the Iron Bowl, keeping their perfect season alive.
That Iron Bowl, one of my favorite rivalries of all time. Who will ever forget the what is it called? The Kick Six, they called it. We were sitting there watching that at Sears and Roebuck at South Point Mall on the TV because we were headed back from a state championship game. 2004, it had to be, I think. And we're sitting there watching that when that kid, Chris Davis, I think is his name,
Running a kick off back.
called it, you know, deep. Nobody.
field goal.
Alabama
Yeah,
had the
yeah,
big
yeah.
boys out there because they were block, you know, doing
Right.
the field goal block.
Uh-huh.
They did not have the defensive pursuit team out there. So
I-
great rivalry.
Did you know that the Auburn-Alabama game, the Iron Bowl, they suspended that playing each other for 41 years?
No, I didn't know that.
When did they
played
start
for
back? Do you
41
know
years.
roughly?
I don't know. They didn't
wonder
play
why.
for 41 years.
Yeah, that's one of the big timers.
That's this weekend.
Yep.
I don't
Oh,
know.
yeah.
All right, 2012, Kobe Bryant becomes the youngest player ever to hit 30,000 points. The Mamba mentality is in full effect. Raynor, what's the Mamba mentality?
That's what they called him, was Black Mamba,
Black
right?
Mamba, yeah.
just because the way
After a snake.
he kind of had them moves, yeah. Slithery.
All right. 2021, Tiger Woods announces he's returning to competition at the PNC Championship with his son Charlie. Golf fans lose their minds, and rightfully so.
Lose their minds.
His son Charlie has got the same mannerisms as Tiger.
Yeah, a lot
Walks
like
just
him.
like him, acts just,
I wonder if Tiger will ever come back to competitive golf.
No.
Well, we're gonna finish up. That's all that stuff happened on this day in November 28th. And sometimes in sports history. Before we finish up with the Cardinals and all the information on the broadcast and everything tonight, we do want to touch base on college football this weekend. It's rivalry weekend.
It is.
You got Carolina and State.
Yep.
Who do you think will win that game,
I think
Robert?
State will win. I'll be there, and hopefully it's 5 in a row, and we'll knock Bill Belichick into the sunset.
Is it a catch-22 for you though? Because you know if they win, Dorian's probably coming back.
He's coming back.
You think he's coming back either
He's
way?
coming back. It don't matter if win or lose.
Too much of a buyout right now.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to let him finish his contract. He's got 3 more years, so I think
He's up and down, ain't he, man? I can't get
Well-
him figured out either.
Yeah.
13 years. We have no ACC championship appearances, no titles. We haven't won a bowl game since 2017. but he wins 6 to 8 games every year, and
Beats Carolina in the year.
And now we're all about basketball. We're all in on basketball. So where's the money coming from for football?
I don't know, man.
It's gonna be interesting.
Unfortunately, that's what college sports is right now.
It's gonna be like that Hall and Oates song. She's gone.
The other side of the rivalry, Bob Warlick went to Carolina. You think Carolina's got a shot?
Did you go to UNCW or did you
I went
go
to
to Chapel Hill?
both. I went to
You went
both.
both? Okay.
I've been to about every school in the state.
Did you partied a lot out? Did you flunk out of one?
No, I didn't.
You
flunk
can't
out.
get a law degree at Carolina.
No, I didn't
UNCW.
flunk out. But I don't know. I mean, I think it's going to be hard for Carolina to win because their quarterback play is pretty suspect. Their offensive line's pretty suspect. Defense pretty good, but if I had, I'd think State's probably going to win a close game.
Where to play? Where to play?
It's in Raleigh.
Okay.
Yeah.
By the way, Carter Finley just announced that Guns N' Roses is coming there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have to get tickets to that.
That would be cool.
It's a great place, a great venue to watch a
It
game
is.
for
It is.
anything. Since you went to both schools, I'm gonna let you pick which is more important to you: Carolina's 7 national championships, is it 7 or 8? 7, whatever it is.
Yeah.
7 national championships in basketball, or the fact that UNCW has never lost a football game.
I'd say the first.
I would think so. All right, looking at the other matchups, you got Ole Miss and Mississippi State. Does Duke and Wake Forest play this weekend?
They do.
That's nowhere near considered the rivalry, but it's still in the state. Yeah.
Duke, if they win, they're going to claim they're national champs of North Carolina
North
this
Carolina
year. They
chance.
beat it.
Did they
all
play
of
East
them.
Carolina?
No.
East
But they
Carolina
fell
got
on
killed
hard
last
times the
week.
other
Yeah, East
day.
Carolina laid an egg.
Yeah, bad.
They were pinnacled out, and then now all of a sudden they're
They're going to the playoffs to nothing now.
Yeah. So you got Ole Miss and Mississippi State. Man, that would be a great game. It's at Mississippi State, but next time they play at the
Ole
Grove,
Miss.
we need to go there.
Egg
for that
Bowl,
game.
man, that's one of my favorites too.
Those are beautiful uniforms Ole Miss has got. I love that blue, man.
I don't know if I could stand those cowbells.
Yeah,
It's super
State.
loud on
At
TV.
State, yeah. I'd rather
Georgia and Georgia Tech.
closer than normal this year.
That's
It's
Oh,
like
yeah.
some of the other ones.
That's today.
It's not the same conference.
Where they
it's a
playing?
different
They're
conference.
playing at
It's at
the
Tech.
no, it's at the Mercedes-Benz
It's
Dome.
at
In
Atlanta.
Georgia?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Indiana, Purdue. In a lot of years,
Indiana.
Purdue would be the favorite, but Indiana's
not
rolling.
now.
Purdue's 2-8.
Yeah.
Was it 2-9? 2-9.
Indiana's what? 9-1.
No, they're undefeated.
they're undefeated.
Indiana.
Okay.
They're ranked second
Number 2 in the
undefeated.
country, 11-0.
Okay.
They play like 17 games now. Now that they do it, Texas A&M at Texas. Boy, would it cap off Texas' season and get them a shine going the rest of the way to knock off undefeated Texas A&M. They're number 3 and 11-0. What do you think? Any chance Texas got in that game?
They got
Really?
a chance.
Well, Texas A&M had a bad game a while back where they almost blew it. What was
Yeah,
it? Oh, it was South Carolina, wasn't it?
Yeah, oh man, they
I
got
like
way
that coach.
down, didn't they?
I like that coach at Texas, though. I really do.
Was it kind of funny to you, Beamer, acting the way he did going into halftime up, 30-3 or something?
Yeah,
Showing
yeah.
his butt, whipping the fans into a frenzy, and then they lost.
Yeah.
33-30 or
Can't
whatever.
do that.
I'm shocked he's still coaching. I mean,
A
he's
lot of
still
people
there.
th-
South
still think-
Carolina.
Hold your breath,
Yeah.
A lot
man.
of people think he's lined up to go to Virginia Tech.
No, that's
Virginia Tech hired James
Oh,
Franklin.
yeah, that's
Franklin.
right. You're right.
Franklin's already there.
That was one of the
Notre
things.
Dame
One of the things was
I mean, the Penn State.
Penn State
Yeah,
coach.
he's
yeah.
last week,
Okay.
And he
and
is
he's already flipping some of his recruits back.
A lot of people like him for you get him for the first 3 years.
Oh man,
Yeah.
Get your program back on track, and then you hire
Gets
a
players-
winner to
gets
take it
players
to the
in
next
there.
level. Arizona and Arizona State both are ranked. Arizona's 25th and Arizona State 20th. And the list I'm looking at, other than the locals we know, is the top 25. So I'm gonna save the best for last. You know which one it is. Tennessee and Vanderbilt. You ever thought that one would have been a top 20 matchup?
never.
Never.
And with Vanderbilt being 14,
Never.
and Tennessee being 19.
Where is it?
Is that Tennessee?
Tennessee.
Tennessee will probably win
Yeah.
that one.
LSU and Oklahoma, Oregon State and Washington, Miami and Pitt. I don't know how that became their rivalry game. I would think it would be one of the
Florida schools.
Well, they were both Big East schools for years and years and years. That's
Yeah,
why.
that's probably why it ended that way. Let's see what else we got before we Virginia Tech and Virginia. It's at Virginia, and Virginia Tech would love
Virginia's
nothing
playing
more.
for a conference championship. They got to win that.
Yeah.
Virginia.
Does Virginia Tech have a chance to slide into the championship? None.
No,
Oh,
Virginia
no.
Tech, no.
They
What
don't-
teams
they
from
can't
the
make a bowl.
ACC has it? Just Miami?
Virginia
They
and
don't- only
SMU are in the driver's seat. They both those teams control their own destiny. They both win. They're in the ACC championship.
But what team? I'm talking about the college football playoff. Does ACC team? The champion goes in, right?
Miami could,
Yeah.
the champion, and Miami could slide in they need somebody to lose ahead of them. Like
Yeah.
they need Oklahoma to get beat,
Yeah.
or I'm not sure, maybe Texas Tech, somebody like that needs
Right.
that's ahead of them. I don't understand how they're behind Notre Dame. That makes no sense. They played on the field. Miami beat Notre Dame, but Notre Dame's ranked ahead of them.
How many teams
Make that make
qualify
sense.
for it this year?
12.
12. Okay.
I'm hoping to eventually go to the perfect bracket, which is
16,
16,
yeah.
where you
Okay,
just
right.
don't have to buy and you just start
Yeah.
eliminating.
It used to be just 4, didn't it?
It was 4 for
Yeah.
a lot of years.
Before we get to the best 3, we're going to get the 2 out west. You got SMU at California and Notre Dame at Stanford. First of all, how is Stanford and Cal after that, awesome, the miracle finish,
When
the
they
laterals
run
and
over the
everything?
band
How
and
are they
everything.
not the game of ending their seasons? I just don't understand
They
that.
played last week.
Yeah, but that still should be,
I
in
know.
my opinion, their rivalry game. So I'm going to save the best 3 for last. A little of the luster's gone because they're not playing as well, but UCLA and USC.
Yeah.
To be right there sharing that turf, that's a big game.
Yeah, it is.
I think you'll see a few more fans than you've seen at some UCLA games. You've
Right.
seen some of the pictures where like 137
They're leaving
fans
their
are over there.
stadium. They're going to the Chargers Stadium.
I don't
So
blame
far,
them.
Yeah, they're going to SoFi.
Yeah, I don't blame them. That's a heck of a facility. Yeah.
Rose Bowl is just so iconic. Though.
Oh, man.
Yeah. All right, and then the top 2, in my opinion, and this is subject to debate: Alabama and Auburn.
For sure.
Iron Bowl. That's Auburn would love to knock off
Throw
Bama.
out the records when those two guys
Exactly.
are.
And then, in my opinion, still the top one in college football is
Ohio State.
Michigan.
Michigan.
And Michigan. The last 2 national champions.
Right.
Michigan
Good
one
point.
year before
Well, Michigan's
last. and Ohio
won
last
4 in
year.
a row.
Ohio State. Oh, and I said Ohio. Don't ever do that to an Ohio State fan. Call them Ohio.
Oh, they get
do not
aggravated.
like that. So Ohio State, of course. But Michigan, Ohio State, it's at the big house. If there was ever a trap game, right there, buddy.
That's it. Yeah.
Michigan is 9-2. It's kind of been a quiet 9-2.
Yeah.
They have.
When you think about it, they're ranked 15th in the
They've
country.
had
Ohio
a
State number
really
1.
bad schedule, though. Oklahoma's the best team they've played so far.
Well, you always look for them to be in the top 4 or 5 in the country, and they hadn't done it this year, so they sort of fall off the radar.
And that's Saturday at noon. So that'll kick off the festivities for tomorrow's games. Looking, of course, big game. You have to look no further than the one tonight here at Cardinal Stadium. Ashley, you want to give us the rundown on the festivities when things start on the air?
Yeah, and then I want to turn it over to Bob and Robert and let them, do another take on tonight's
right.
game. I don't think we got into it too deep.
Oh,
about
yeah. We're going
what
to.
the Cars need to do.
Oh, we're not leaving. I just want you to give everybody tell. When they
Yeah,
can tune in.
well, we're going there at 6:30 tonight with the pregame and the kickoffs at 7:00, and the Cardinals are hosting the Vikings of Union Pines. Or is Tarboro the Vikings as well?
Yep.
We got the
Billy.
County
Billy.
Vikings, we got the White Oak Vikings, and now we got the Cameron Vikings.
Thank you, sir.
Got tons of
We,
Vikings.
we really do. Thank you, buddy.
I think Plymouth is too.
But anyway,
There's no more Plymouth High School,
Oh, well, Plymouth's not then.
Washington County.
Washington County.
Proceed. I'm sorry.
okay, kickoff at 7:00, and followed by a Golden Corral post-game report, and we thank Billy Sewell for doing that. Should be a lot of fun. I don't know, man. You just never know. Well, what's going to happen. The Cardinals are home. I think we've taken it for granted this year because we hadn't had to go anywhere. It's nice being home, so can't let the guard down. Found that out last week.
You better believe it. Yeah, I'm excited, and I know Jerry. I've talked to him all week. He's excited. It's a game that scares me to death. Union Pines.
He's
They're
scared of
You said that last week, Bob.
well, and I was right.
And he was right.
Right.
Yeah.
But they're a notorious wrestling school, and they've got really tough kids. They've got a good quarterbacks throwing for about 1,700 yards. They've got a really tough running back, number 22.
Got a good defense.
Got a good tight end that's going to Chattanooga, about a 6'5" kid, and then they've got a good speedy receiver in number 2. And they remind me a lot like Indiana. Kind of they came up from nowhere, incredibly well coached, super fundamental, play very, very physical. So for Jacksonville to win, I think they've got to certainly clean up the special teams. I think
Got about that.
I think they've got to match the physicality, and if they do that, I do think Jacksonville has a speed advantage, and that's how. If Jacksonville wins, the speed does it, and they've matched the physicality of Union Pines, and played a really clean game because Union Pines is not going to make any mistakes. They're not going to beat themselves.
They got one common opponent, Harnett Central. Union Pines beat them 24-12, 28-12, something like that, and the Cardinals handle them in the playoffs by 40 points. So not
Cardinals
that makes
gave
a
up
Cardinals could have scored 80.
Yeah, they gave up an opening kickoff return touchdown
Yeah.
and then never looked back from there. Just stepped on them walking out the door in the rest of the game.
Well, Robert, you're running the clock. I know Bo's very, very appreciative of that.
Yeah.
So we'll see you there tonight.
Yeah, I'll
What's
be
your
there.
take on it, buddy? What got to do?
Well, first I'd like to say we had a great crowd last Friday, and it's going to be cold tomorrow night.
Oof.
Sure is.
Last week
Football
was shorts weather.
Yeah.
Now tonight's going to be cold.
It sure is.
So I hope the fans
35 degrees, something
yeah,
like that.
Something like that.
Hope the fans show out. I'm sure they will.
Yeah.
And I'm like what Bob said. We got to fix special teams. You can't have 3 turnovers on special teams
Right. If you,
and win. We're pretty fortunate to win last week.
Very.
Really. You can't make it to the game. We hope you can. Be sure to tune in to WSME Freedom 97.1 FM and worldwide at WSME971.com tonight. Tune in, listen to the Cardinals take on the Vikings, and hopefully we'll be back next week.
Going to miss Hollywood tonight.
Yeah, Hollywood's going to be seeing some family this
Headed out of
weekend.
town to go see some family.
Yeah, he took Thanksgiving and spent some time up in Parisburg, Virginia. If you think it's cold down here, you need to be with Hollywood.
I hope Hollywood doesn't bring no snow back.
I hope he doesn't either.
We don't
He's a little
want
bit
no
under the
snow.
weather. I hope he gets feeling a little bit better, and he's going to allow me to sit in tonight, and me and Wes Hines, take care of the game along with you guys. Bob, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Of course, Jerry, we're thinking about you too. Robert, always good to see you. I'm glad you're running the clock because we get to see you more often. Big boy over here is going to a hockey game.
Hockey game night.
Hockey game tonight.
We had got one of the games we'd gotten 4 tickets to, trading with a buddy of mine. So we'll take the whole crowd tonight.
Nice.
Y'all ready?
Thanksgiving matinee. And we ain't done yet. We got to talk a bit more about it. I'll talk about the bracket before we go. Looking at the 6A bracket, it might be the tightest as far as whoever's supposed to win has won.
Yep.
You got 1 through 4 in the East. You got Jackson with the 1 seed, Northern Ash the 2 seed, Middle Creek the 3 seed, and Union Pines the 4 seed. In the West, you got Watauga at number 1 seed. You got the 2 and 3 of Northern Guilford and Ashbrook, and then the 5 seed of Sun Valley. So only one is missing out of that, the 4 seed in the West. Other than that, it's been pretty much status quo. What's supposed to happen,
Yeah.
and we all know that don't normally happen. But do want to give it a quick shout out to the 5A bracket. So got Croatan and Jacksonville Northside available in that one.
Right.
Of course, the winner of that one, they would meet if they both
Yeah,
won.
let's hope
met
they
each other
both
next
win
week.
and
No
they get to
kidding,
play.
man.
That'd
How
be
good was
awesome.
the
game?
It
Yeah.
would be.
And it would be at Northside, correct?
Yeah.
But Northern Nash, Middle Creek. Middle Creek's a Raleigh school, right?
Yeah, but they're
One of
good.
those neighborhood schools. Yeah.
really
Apex.
They're
Carry
very
some
good.
right.
It's south of Raleigh. They got around Fuquay in that area, yeah.
And
Thank you,
look-
Billy Grissett, for them. Billy Bowl.
Billy Bowles, we're getting ready to dive into. One quick thing in the 5A bracket real quick. Just want to make sure Hunt is in the driver's seat. They're the number 1 seed. But if Northside and Croatan won, they're the 3 and 4 respectively. So Northside would host if they both won. Let's pull for that.
Oh,
Have the
yeah.
Cardinal win too.
Yeah. Local
Do you
teams.
want
man.
to hit our sponsors before we go?
Go
Then
ahead,
do
hit 'em,
that-
baby. Knock 'em out.
That Cardinal thing that you want.
Yes, sir.
I want to thank National Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram, All About Floors, Bradley's Jewelers, the losses of John Drew Warlick, Golden Corral, Express Printing, Bayshore Animal Hospital, CNS Paint, Bartley Insurance Services, Bill Mercer, Superior Metal Structures and Concrete, Jones Onzo EMC, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative. Thanks again to Jones Onzo for letting us sit out front for the Christmas parade last week. Yeah. That's cool to be able to do that, and they feed us a donut or two and some cookies and let us use
You
that
had more than
current they
2
got.
donuts, buddy.
I had 1 donut and 2 cookies.
Okay.
But the cookie was that big.
Big old cookies. Downey's Heating and Air Conditioning, Hampton Hadley Chiropractor, Jones LP Gas there in Verona, Southern Touch Painting, Fountain Management, Oslo County Motor Company, Lane Associates Family Dentistry, and Humphrey Heating and Air Conditioning. Also thanks to Downey's Heating and Air for sponsoring the Hurricane Watch, and Helen's Kitchen and Billy Grissett for those delicious.
Hey, one thing about the Christmas,
Billy Bowls.
the Christmas parade.
Uh-huh.
He told us it's about to pour, and
Oh, we saw it on the radar.
It poured for about 10 minutes, and then it stopped, and it was nice.
Yeah. And a lot of people
Good.
fled and came back. It was a good crowd.
Good.
All right, you want to lead them into charge?
We'll be here next Friday with Sports Talk, hopefully talking about the Cardinals playing for the Eastern Finals. Hopefully that's going to be the case. In the meantime, 1, 2, 3,
Go Cards!